Hey, how you doing, guys? I'm back. Let's do this thing. One sec, gotta go grab my waters. There we go. I got my waters now, guys. Let's do it to it. Let's see if we have anybody. Come on. We got this. Alright, let's see if we can't put this. Let's do some patterns. Okay, so he's playing there. So that if we can meet that one there, okay. Now we got both our, alright, since he played there, we can then develop. Excuse me. And we want to make a spot for our bishop. We don't know what our opponent's going to really play. So now we kind of do. So what we'll do is we'll develop our bishop here, potentially play g4 and then g5. Or maybe, yeah, I'm going to do g4. This stops this so that we can actually take there and have our knight take back. Now you take with the knight. Ooh, interesting. So he's up 2 pawns. Let's see if we can't get some attack flowing here. Let's see if I can't pick up a bishop with knight there. That'd be sweet if I could. Or maybe even knight there would pick up a maybe equal with that move there, because he probably would take here, then I would take back. So this would be an interesting position to see, guys. Yeah. Sorry, I have to make room for you guys. He's gonna figure out that that's really the only move. Then I take back. Because he can't really do anything, so he's gonna have to sacrifice for a pawn. Huh, okay. Interesting, to say the least. was thinking about checking here, but they were retreating back, but I don't think so. That stops that. Make a flight square for my king to go to. That was actually a pretty bad move there. Let's see, what do we want to do here? Can't really push, because if I pushed, then he could pin my I'm just gonna push onward, see if I can't get some attack going. Compel. Pow. Trying to think here. He's got a back mate issue. Okay, dokie. I think that wins, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see, what actually does win here? Is it? Oh, yeah, I grabbed that. Okay. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Really good. Can't have a bad day when you're doing chess. Now we get to try our French out before we even get to go into it, so that's going to be fun. Hopefully our opponent plays. I might just let the time run. Yeah, we have an yeah, we have an advocate with the Father Christ Jesus. Yep, that's true. Oh, good. How you doing? Have to write that down real quick. I'll have to look at that. That's a really good one. Let's see here. Oops, sorry. I gotta do my London, my sweet London. How you doing? Good. I'm doing good. Play the grub. How you guys doing? Just in case he plays here. Oh, I'm gonna have to grab that now. There we go. Now I acquired my goal. I now have full development and a really powerful bishop. Wow. Now I have a really strong attack here going. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab that. Head to an endgame castle. Well, I don't think I really need a castle now. I'll just go up here because I have double protection of this pawn. And then I'll play here, and now I can protect that pawn. And I'll just move my king up, bring my rook over, and I can always castle by hand. I'm just going to play there. I'm actually going to double up here. boy, 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 boy. You have to sometimes go into a one endgame. Alright, now we're going over the line in the French. Knight a3, like what Play the Grub showed a game. Black, back yesterday. And it was a really interesting one, so we're going to have to go over that. Let me see here. Let me get to that part. Okay, good. We're right here. Okay. This is the... We'll just go over the line because it's good for us to actually do it. See how we're doing. Let me see. I'm trying to remember. I think it's E2, knight G, E there, so that we can get up there. Knight A4, and then knight to G6. That's right. Here we go. And then he plays H8 or H4. H8. That's funny. H4. Okay. There's also a if you don't want to go down this line, there's a sub line about on move 5. I believe it's pawn takes, knight G E7. Oops. Knight G E7. And then knight to A3. You could, the majority of the lines actually have them play to C3, knight C3, but some lines will they want to go back to C2 because they see that the line of knight to F5 and then queen to B6 is playable. There's always a little trick too. You gotta be careful. If you do trade off and plant your queen here, then there's a bishop there. They always have this little check trick. So that's why you pocket a bishop on D7 so that you may be able to pick up a pawn without a worry of losing your queen. Okay. Let's say he goes E2 so that we can actually, he can castle. That's his idea. Hold on, what did I miss here? Uh-oh, my bad. I missed it. It wasn't bishop D. It was knight. I'm trying to do this from memory, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But I'm getting better. Getting better. So E2. Now this is the line. I had one move miss. Because what we're wanting to do is to actually play our bishop to, after that, E7, bishop E7. And then when he has H4, because he's going to try to push Harry. B6, remember we're trying to take scope on this pawn, and here as well. King F1. This is usually, it's kind of funny, this is usually played because they're predicting that black's going to castle kingside, and they want to be able to have their king in a safe spot, and they want to keep the rook to guard H4 just in case, you know, a battery happens of an attack. Excuse me. Oops, I have to move this over just a little bit so I can have a little bar to grab onto. That would be lovely. Come on, back up. There we go. Now we got it. A5, which has some pretty good play here because we're trying to potentially go knight to A7 and bishop to B5 to trade off our bad bishop for his good bishop. See, if you can get your bishop traded off, sometimes you have an advantage in that line. And then this is also a subline that could be played. If you don't like bishop to E2, there's always bishop D3 as well. This is another line that you can go down. And all it is a change of just this bishop. But it makes a huge difference sometimes with your attack. King F1, same move sequence, A5 again with another exclam, because A5 is always a good setup. If you ever need to throw something in, A5, then he takes there, he takes, and then H5. And F4. Which is I call F Fabi, so Fabi 4, and then they have Fabi's other twin. This is twin 1, and this is twin 2. This shuts down everything. Bishop takes here, and they published that bishop to G. What in the world? They said bishop G4. Bishop G4 this is it right here. And he says there's two, you can do bishop G4 or bishop G5. Bishop G5 is actually the exclam idea, because what you're going to do is trade off your bad bishop for a knight. So just getting that one traded off is a stellar position setup. So now that we've looked at, let's see, move 9, let's see here. We're going to talk about when this happens, B6. Yeah, Queen B6. He castles because he doesn't want to throw that pawn up. He wants to keep the flexibility. A5. It's really interesting. It's like almost the same setup, close to, with a bishop idea there. Knight E3, and then rook C1. Because we're trying everything. We're not letting up on steam. We're going full throttle ahead. Of course, Queen D2. An interesting setup for sure. I like this move a little bit for black, because he's potentially going to trade off. I mean, for white, sorry. He's going to trade off his bad bishop for one of black's most active pieces, which is the knight. So it has an interesting setup. Like E7, A3, knight C7. Now this is attacked twice. So bishop C3. There we go, and it guards that. And then we castle, and we've entered a equal position here, which is not a bad setup for black. To get in an equal position this far in, not bad at all. Okay, let's see, where are we now? Okay, we have to take a look at gotta make sure I'm going down the right notes with you guys for you guys. Okay, dokie. So on move 11, you don't have to jump your knight in there if you don't want to. You could play h5. h5, b3, and rook g8, which is a suggestion from one of the engines that Dan Heisman went down. There's also bishop to e7, queen d3. Wait a second. Queen d3. Hold on. What the in the world? Hold on, sometimes these notes get confusing. So b6. Oh, that must be one of the lines. And then if we get to move 12, still there, it doesn't make sense. That's okay. We'll move on to the let me see, how does this work? Because he has 3 sublines. That's funny. So we'll just go into the next one, because for some reason have I missed something here? Back here, hold on. Oh yeah. Okay, g6, here we go. Now we're getting to the right spot. Then h4. This is a idea for white. White could play instead of h4 the direct knight. See, I gotta make sure I'm doing this right. Is that move 8? Uh-oh. It's not wanting to reconnect with me. This is not fun. This is not working out too well. Server not found, huh? That's interesting. Huh. That was peculiar. Hold on, where did we stop off? Okay. Yeah, instead of h, you can play knight to c2. Queen, bishop E and then G3, because what you're going to do is castling. It gives your king a flight square. Castles, H4, C takes D, C takes D, and then F6. Pow. You gotta love the pow. H5. Now H8. The idea of this is to go to F2 and then exchange off the pawn. Pawn takes, and knight F7. Black has a nice central pressure if he can get that down the pike. H6, G6, takes, bishop takes, and then black castles with some pressure on the king. Knight F7, and now this is potentially going to be a weakness. Actually, it's going to be a weakness. Knight E3, which is actually, this is a dubious move. He should have tried to get his pawn, the pawn rolling, maybe something like that, and because that would have left the bishop open. Now the pawn potentially could be actually taken. Now it can be taken. Knight takes D. E takes D. Bishop takes H. The H knight. Rook E8. And Rook E1. So bishop to G4 was played. And this gets an exclam mark, which is actually is better for black. This actually is from a game, I believe. It should have a game that goes with it. Yep, this is the game. There's an equal position, which actually turned out to be a draw. Oh, I got it. Okay. C takes D, C takes D, and then this is what was played. But you don't, if you're black, you don't have to do that. You can just grab the knight. Some would just grab the knight and just say, you know what? I've weakened white structure on the queen side, which then I don't have to worry about it. I can castle and play F6, and then say I have compensation for that. H5, oops. Sorry, H5. Oops, my bad there. Get out of there. H6, exclam. And now white went H5, that's right. G there, now we are coming up to totally gang up on that pawn. Castles. This is actually a Grushchik game. It should be here. Yep, Alexander Grushchik. And Alexander Gruff actually won in this one. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Castling is an idea that could be played, or knight to f5. Either one, they're both good moves. Both principled moves. King f1. You don't have to if you don't want to go king f1. Some could actually play queen d2, bishop b6 to keep eyeball on those two pawns. Bishop takes, queen d2, castles, h5, and then knight f4. Because the queen's pinned, you can actually do that. f1, and then g6. H takes g, and then f takes g, with an equal position. So all the way close into the middle game, they equalize from the opening. You gotta love that for sure. h6, which prepares, if need be, there, or here and here. So there's also, if you don't want that, h5 and then f8, which then you can come in that way. There's that. So c, e2, and then f5. This is actually this was suggested by a grandmaster. Hold on, let me get this over here. There we go. I had to put my foot up on rest for just a second. Hold on. Okay, let me see. G3 was actually a suggestion from a grandmaster. And then this allows castling, king g2, and then knight to h8 with an exclam mark. And then now f6 is an effective move because it brings the knight back into the game. You could also do bishop to d3 is an idea too. It's been played. It's been discouraged. It discourages f6 at this moment because if you try f6, wham, check. So it's not going to do that. So black usually castles, bishop e3, f5, which gets, I believe, an interesting mark. I like it. E takes f, rook takes f, and I believe this is equal position, close to equal, maybe slightly better for black. So it all depends on if you like slightly better games. Knight to h. Here we go. The point now, black has the idea of playing knight to g5. Additionally, to also play f6. This all looks odd, but white doesn't have much to stop this. H5 doesn't really do anything with his h5, and it ends up becoming a target later on in the game. This pawn does. Excuse me. Bishop d3. There's also rook g3 if you're wanting. Would be met though by knight to g5, and knight takes, h takes, then f4, queen c7, exclaim, with the idea of f4, yeah, with the idea of if he takes there, you have x, f6. Otherwise, you can actually also castle and then go for an attack too. So those are both ideas. You can, after that, you can go f6, then go for a pretty tremendous of an attack, and then maybe even castle before that. Castle and do that. So there, g5, h8, f4 with the idea of protecting the pawn. This is also so that if we try f6, he really, if we try to take, he can actually take back with the pawn and it's protected. So the bishop gives a lot of coverage to e5. f5, and it's like kapow, takes, and then at this point, there's a line that could be played here. Let me see. Instead of taking, if you want to keep it closed, you can actually go second. Instead of sorry, that was actually the wrong move. You can actually keep it closed that way if you'd like, and then bishop e8 to eyeball this pawn here, rook to protect, and then g5. Black gets an advantage. The h-pawn now becomes a problem. Again, we talked about a problem for black. I mean for white, not black. But he took here. This is actually from a game, so if you're wondering, knight takes, knight e5, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, bishop e8, rook h3, bishop d6. Which has if you want to think about it, an interesting idea of trading off a bishop, which is the attacker of the knight. And then if he attacks, you also could take back with this bishop, and now the bishop is really goodly positioned. Knight to e1, which also plays for an interesting setup. I thought that was a pretty interesting setup as well. But we have to put where the kind of game ended, but this is actually where the game continues on, so I guess I can just leave it there. If you don't like that move, you always have the subline of bishop queen e2. This allows bishop takes, d takes e, and then knight to e4, exclaim. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and then queen d2 with a really strong attack on the knight, the pawn, and this also we have an attack there, so this is a really strong move. So bishop takes bishop, pawn takes, of course, is forced. Then again, e4, exclaim. Same idea. Knight f3. Rook h5. H4, or not 4, H5. Sorry about that. H5. Then Queen E2. Rook takes H5, rook takes H5, bishop takes H5, queen takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and then queen to B6. Black's king is safer and his pieces are more active. F8 is coming, rook F8. So in this line, it's much better for black in this line. So if you think about it, the king's much safer. We learned a lot now. So we'll do one more game, and then we'll get into our puzzles. Let's see here. So let's do it. If he does the exchange, I'm ready. He might push here, or he might pin. Either one we have an idea for. If he plays bishop here, we play bishop here, pawn, and then we retreat back. Classic line. So he's heading towards the exchange line. Just lock the position down. If he plays takes there, I'm going to just play queen up. If he brings his rook over, I'm going to trade, rook takes, and then king up, and I think I'm slightly better here. I have more space than my opponent does. Let's see, we're trying to... He's going to try, if he takes here, I take there, and I have an attack on the queen. My idea is h6, bishop goes back, and then h... I could at that point play there. If he surrenders the two bishops, I mean the bishop, that in theory would help me out. Because he might try to win a pawn with bishop takes knight, bishop takes, and then queen takes. Yeah, that's what I thought he might play. He really can't win a pawn, because if he does, I just grab that pawn. I probably should have grabbed the pawn. No, if I grab the pawn, he checks me with the queen. So I think I did the right move there. Now I'm threatening to win a pawn. I might even play potentially queen there. think I'm winning here if I'm not mistaken. Both rooks are hanging. If he plays here, I mate him. If he plays here, I take. If he checks, I just come up and then I'm threatening mate, so he can't really win this pawn. And then what I'll do is I'll just bring my rook up, trade off, and I'll be up a that was the only losing move. This move, I think he's losing either way. I think he was losing either way. Let me see. What if he takes... Actually, he can't take any of these rooks. Now you just bring your king up, and what do you gotta do if you go there? Interesting. So he takes there. You're up a whole pawn. If he tries to deep freeze it, just bring your king in. If he tries that, you just take the pawn. Wowzers. Nice job, guys. Oops, wrong one. Okay, I will let you guys look at this for a second or two. I'm just trying to check to make sure the stream's doing good. Perfect. Okay, we'll be right back. Guys, how you doing? We're back. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? So we have takes, that opens that up. Hey. Oh, cool. I gotta tell you that this can't be right, can it? Could it be actually? Queen takes. Could it be queen takes a4? Is that? Could that actually be right? That's cool. That's the home of MVL. What do you guys think? I'm thinking this because the bishop guards the knight, so we can actually come over and grab that. I think that was the whole idea. That was the move, I believe, that was missed. That has to be the idea. Man, that's an interesting move for sure. For sure, for sure. This is a weird one. What am I missing here? Do we just retreat the bishop back here and say, what have you accomplished? Is it bishop? Is it bishop g3? Is that that's the only move I can see that has anything, any teeth to it. But then he has knight here. Huh. But we could play rook to so if we go bishop g3, knight c3, and maybe rook c4. That's what I'm thinking. Thinking about playing so we played knight to b, knight b6. We play rook there. What really can he do? I don't really see anything he could do at that point. Yeah. There's nothing he could do at that point. Interesting, I'll give it a like. Excuse me. I'm thinking knight to d7. Oops. Knight d7. What do you guys think? You guys got a comment so we can do this as a team. We gotta comment as a team. We're Team Chess Cruncher. Well, we'll take a quick break and we'll do one of these. I don't know what he's gonna play. Ooh, now we know. He's going King's Indian. Let's push and harry. I know I gave away this square here, but sometimes you just gotta lock the position down. Right there. I don't really like my knight outposted, or his knight outposted there. I'm gonna castle kingside now and then see if we can't go for pretty good of an attack. Let's see if he will bite, take. Oh, drat. That was not good. What was I thinking there? Yeah, that was a blunder on my part. I wasn't focusing. Let's see, what could I have done here? Oh, reinforced the knight would have been best. Okay. Give that a shot, another one. That wasn't too much fun, but you have to learn from your mistakes. Remember that. Okay, let's do this thing. I took. I think I could have actually won a piece there. I have to remember that idea if he does play that you can actually pick up a piece. I'll have to check that out after we win this game. I'm gonna come here, try to pick this knight off if I can. I'm going to keep my rooks in play. So I'll play it there. After takes, rotates, doubling up rooks. Oh, I could just play here and then try to get... No, I don't know if that would work. I think I should have played there. Yikes. Well, I think I'm okay. I still have enough. I still have enough attackers here. I believe I can actually pick up a piece in this line, even if he forks there. Oops, sorry, it's first there. And there's the piece that drops. think I made a mistake. Yeah. I think you could have held here though. So I think it's probably a draw. Yeah, I probably should have just let me see here. I'll just retreat the knight back. Oh, okay, just retreat the knight back. Then if he plays there, okay, just push onward. You did good. You did well too. Huh. I kind of like this move here. Yeah, I think mainly it's a draw at that point. If he takes. Yeah, I think it's still slightly better for white. I'm gonna check this combination out though. So this move here is okay. That's the tide turner. Gotcha. Okay, we'll do some puzzles now. Do a couple puzzles. Wow, that was a interesting game to say the least. Trying to see if I want to look at knight to d2 or d7. Sorry. And if he plays rook there, like knight d7, rook there, my idea is to potentially reroute it to e5 with an attack on excuse me, on the knight there, and that covers the check here. It covers that pawn there. Then we could check if he comes down there. Not sure on this one. Could just be a plain rook to there, push, he moves over, but we still have the same sitch. He's right in front of the pawn. What am I missing here? could push this pawn here. And then if he takes, then I take, and I'm threatening mate right there. And if he doesn't take, I could just push and get two connected passers, which then would end up in mate anyways. Yeah, I'm liking that move. Let me see. I'll leave you guys with this just for a sec. I'll be right back. take a look at this now. Oops, I had to take 1 second. There we go. Okay. Okie dokie. Thinking potentially it's rook to h5. R h5. What do you guys think? And I'm thinking after rook h5, h4, and what do we do after here? We could play rotates rook, pawn takes check. If the king comes up here, then we have rook check, and he comes back, and then we have mate. So what I'm trying to say is this move here, guys. After that, rook takes h4, g takes f4, queen takes f4, check. And this would be a check too. And then if the king that's kind of my idea. Yeah, if he goes after if okay, this is what you're saying, here and then there. Well, you can at that point potentially, I think you could play queen takes knight. I think you pick up a knight in that line with check. The queen would have to take back, then the rook would take, and I think you're up on exchange in that line. So it's not a bad move. Not a bad move. It's just you have to always remember to calculate and make sure. Sometimes that's my problem. I miscalculate things. You have to always calculate what is the end result before you even move it. What is the end result? Yeah, I'm thinking that it's got to be the move. But the only sitch after takes here, and then takes, and then takes, check, is what happens if he plays over here. Well, I guess we could check at that point with our queen, couldn't we? this is one that you have to be 100% correct, because if you're gonna go for a whole rucksack, you have to be 100% correct that this line's gonna actually work out, because this is the critical move after all this line here. It's what happens with king to h1. What do you do at that point? That's critical. Maybe you just check. Maybe it's perpetual, but what are we missing here? There's got to be something. I was hoping for something like this and then that, but the queen guards this square here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it. Ah, don't tell me. What are we missing here? I think it's perpet at this point. So the win is here. Wow. Okay. Let's see, what time do we got? Perfect. Well, we'll end here. That's okay. We got one. We learned from one. And so, do you guys have any questions on this line here? Huh? You guys have any questions before I log off? What's the question? As long as it applies to chess, it's a question, and this puzzle, I'll do my best to answer. Rook takes f4. It's actually perpetual at that point. Oh, let me see what you're saying. Okay. Then, okay, takes. Okay, queen. It's saying g5. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters which one. Oh, not b4. Okay. If you did b5. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay, b5. I think it's still perpetual. I don't think it has anything. We can't play here. Oh, then c1. See there? I think he gets out. I think the best move here is perpetual, because there's nothing else that he can actually do. We could just go and then just go back, back, back forever. So we found a perpet, but we didn't find the kill or knockout blow, which is okay. It's not. We didn't find a losing move. It was just a drawn line. So I really don't consider that a negative 20. We didn't find the best line. I probably would have maybe marked it down a negative 5 or 7 or something like that. But a negative 20 is, in my opinion, too harsh, because we found a perpetual. We didn't make a bad move. So that should be worth at least something. But that's just my opinion. I'm not LAchess.org. So, do you have any other questions on that? Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for logging on. You know what? You win some, and you have to sometimes lose to learn, but you never think of it as a loss. We have to remember this too, that that wasn't a loss. That was a draw. So don't look at the negative 20. It's not about that number. We just didn't find the best move. We found a move that would lead to perpetual, and maybe our opponent would blunder in that move. You never know. So we got to find a really complicated line. But remember, like what Ginger GM, Yazzer, Jennifer, and Maurice say, sometimes simplicity is actually the best thing. So if you see a simple move that wins, go with it. Don't play flashy. I actually looked at that, but I didn't think it was going to actually work. Should have went a little further with it. But you have to learn and find out where your drawbacks are, and then fix them. And so where I see now where my drawback is, I need to, even if I don't think the move works, just take it a little bit further out, and who knows, maybe that move will work. So I hope you learned that also from from that puzzle, that you know what, don't dismiss a move. Take it as far out as it needs to go, and you know what? Who knows? Maybe 6 or 7 moves out, it is the correct move. So just keep that in mind. And remember, knowing is not enough. We must apply. So you know what? Like, we know this information here. We must apply it. That we look at the problems, even if it kind of looks like, can it actually work? Just apply a little bit further out. Knowing, willing is not enough. We must do. So you may will to look at that puzzle further out, but unless you do it, you'll get a perpetual like ours in 20 points. Remember, plateaus are a part of life in chess. It's what you do during the plateau that means a lot. So just remember, keep pushing forward through the plateau, and only look back to learn. And trust me, if you push forward enough, you will get to that next plateau, and you will go far beyond it, my friends. You really will. But you just have to, as Maurice Ashley and Yazzer and Jennifer would say, at the moment you have to love the plateau, because that's what makes a chess player, is that plateau. Can they endure through it? And if they can, sky's the limits. And remember that, you know what, the Lord's always there to help you too. So never forget that He's there too, to rely on. So just wanted to leave you guys with that thought. And remember, we're also coal. Coal under pressure becomes a beautiful diamond that's very valuable. Okay, and remember, we're the ones that hang up our coat, hang up our hat, and sit down and study. We study while others sleep. We study so that the day that we go into that chess hall, or we go online and we play, we can defeat anybody that's put before us, because we know what we're doing. Okay, I know that's heavy thoughts. Also, keep the East Coast in your thoughts and prayers, guys. There's a lot of disaster that hit them through the hurricanes. So just keep and a lot of rain and everything. So just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Okay, and I'll leave you with that thought. As Wesley So says, for the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, guys, and Lord willing, I'll be back on with you. And you know what? We'll keep plowing until we get to that next plateau. Great job. Go Team Chess Cruncher. Keep pushing forward. Be blessed, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Great work. Bye-bye.